Jesse is startled and cute as ever. Just look at him. You can't see him, but I can.
Well, that's all that matters, really.
Yeah. Yeah. What's been going on, brother?
Oh, man, just living life. Came off of a small injury, so I'm back at work. Getting those hot pizzas delivered.
Oh, yeah. I'm back at the strip club, by the way.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
I heard you got a new VIP customer.
I do. Yeah. His name is Joel. Shout out to him. Good luck on your sex change today. We're praying for you. Yeah. So what's been going on? Like we got a lot of stuff going on, right?
Yeah. I mean, everything's just kind of building up. We're getting ready. Coming up Monday. We got the inauguration coming up.
Yeah.
Which they're going to be doing it indoors this year because of the cold.
Yeah.
First time since Reagan. I wasn't aware of that. I just came across that post. And as soon as they said that it was the first time since Reagan that they've done the inauguration indoors, they didn't mention the weather yet. My first thought was like, yeah, probably because they tried to kill him too.
Yeah.
Probably safer. Then they mentioned the weather. And I was like, that's convenient. I mean, how do you look at that? Is that the hand of God, like saying, hey, this is going to happen so he can be protected indoors? I think it's a great idea anyways. I thought it was crazy.
Yeah, I'm very worried about the 20th. You got, Bongino's been talking about it too. He's very suspicious, and and I think I believe him. He's kind of he's pretty connected to the MAGA world.
Yeah.
And Trump was just on his show too on Friday, I believe. I didn't listen to it, but
I didn't know that.
I saw a clip of it. But he's saying that he's been talking to people in the Trump camp, and they are very suspicious the way things are playing out with the inauguration.
Yeah,
they're very suspicious, and they should be.
Yeah, and I did listen to Bongino talk a little bit because he's also connected with the Secret Service, ex-Secret Service agent.
Yeah,
and that's what he was saying, was like, I really want to see the briefing on how they're going to handle the inauguration, and he hasn't gotten to see anything. And just because he's familiar with it and wants to know what they're doing, because they haven't exactly been above board.
No,
not at all. Things.
No. So that's coming. What is that, Monday? Right.
Monday. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. And then tomorrow is he's having his last, is he still doing that? His last rally, I believe. It's kind of I think you're calling it a victory rally.
I must be really behind. I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, the day before the inauguration.
That's a bold move.
Yeah.
It's okay if he lays low for a little bit. Let's get in.
I'd be
happy. There's too much that needs to be done on day one that he's talking about doing to be throwing yourself out there right now.
I know. I get it that he's been through just complete hell with the lawfare and having to deal. I mean, just too much stress. And this is kind of, I know he absolutely loves these rallies.
Yeah, he
so
feeds
I understand
off of that crowd.
Like him wanting to do that, one last brouhaha before get to work. But
yeah, he doesn't drink or do drugs. That's his high.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. But that, I don't know what to expect. Pray, everyone.
Yeah.
All you 10 listeners we have, pray. So before we started recording, we always do this. We have like almost an hour conversation, and we're like, why were we not recording that conversation? So we're talking about, we're kind of both, I think maybe medium in the market, or kind of just we want to be all in the market, but for the housing market, but the housing market is just complete
trash.
Yeah. But we both want to get land, and I know you want to be closer to things and for work, and I just want land for my kiddos. So what are you like? How many acres in the, I guess, reasonably that you would like to have?
I mean, bare minimum, what I'm looking for is 10 acres.
Yeah. Why is that?
That's a bare minimum.
Yeah.
Well, just because the price difference between 10 acres and 100 acres is about the same.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to pay that kind of money, you might as well get the more acreage.
Yeah.
And also, I love being able to, me and my wife garden.
Yeah.
We've got chickens. We would love to have some more animals. I'd love to raise some
cattle.
Beef for ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't know, just That whole lifestyle has always been interesting to me. And we can't do very much in our little plot of land in our town. I mean, we do enough, but not what we want.
It's kind of a throwback to, now don't get this misunderstood, but it's kind of a throwback to the frontiersman way of life, where, you know, you just have the freedom that you can have with, you know, maybe 5 or 10 acres would be great too. But you just kind of feel free in a way.
Well, you can't be free unless you're self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And in order to be self-sufficient, you've got to have enough land to be able to grow your own food.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just.
So would you get like a windmill? Like, no, you know, like, I don't know how much those would cost. Would you?
Windmill for water?
Just for electricity.
Oh, so like a wind turbine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they do make smaller versions that are going to help. They're not powerful enough to run your own house.
Yeah.
But they'll definitely help. I mean, they're good if you're going to have enough battery backup.
Right.
I've looked into those. A little bit of solar would be cool.
Mm-hmm. I know, what's his name? Thomas Massey, the congressman from Kentucky. He's kind of a libertarian conservative, if you will. But he's an MIT grad and his house is completely self-sufficient. Why is that hard? Why is that word so hard to say? I don't know. There was a mental block or something. Or I'm just dumb. Yeah, it's probably that. Have you ever heard of him, Thomas Massey?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think his land is completely self-sufficient. And, I don't know exactly what he does. That'd be kind of cool to be completely off the grid.
Oh, it'd be amazing. You got to have the money to be able to do that. It's not cheap.
Yeah, it was something you just have to add.
Yeah.
You know, over the years.
Slowly build it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
So I don't know. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
If I ever got that going, y'all may never hear me again because that's where I'm happy.
Some people may be grateful.
A lot of people will be grateful.
So you wanted to talk about something, and I have no idea what it's about.
Yeah. So I just came across some of this, and coming up on like MK Ultra. You know what MK Ultra is? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I mean, for anybody that doesn't know, it was a program that was done back in the 50s. It was the CIA, you know, definitely trying to take care of us.
Yeah.
But what they were trying to do was use drugs to basically do away with free will. Mm-hmm. They were working on mind control. And this isn't a conspiracy theory. There's a lot of documentation.
Yeah.
I mean,
just for the few listeners we have, which department was working on this? Who started MK Ultra?
The CIA.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were using LSD, and they were using it on unwitting participants. So like one of the things they liked to do was they would go use like prostitution, but they would use it on the Johns that would come in because they wanted it to be done on people that wouldn't go out and be like, hey, this happened to me, because they're not going to go tell people they were hooking up. And they would specifically try to target married men. So they're really not worried about it coming out.
Like low IQ individuals, or just people that are...
Just anybody that they thought wouldn't say anything. And of course, they didn't even know they were getting the LSD either. They were just like, oh, what just happened to me? Right. Another one that they did, though, was they started doing it in the prisons. And that's what caught my interest. Do you know who Whitey Bulger is? Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep, the gangster from Boston, right?
Yeah. He was a mob boss. He was part of the Winter Hill Gang. Yeah. So he went to prison in the 50s. It was for a bank robbery. Well, there was a lot to it. But he got sentenced to 20 years or so. He only served 9. But in that time, the CIA came in and they were like, hey, we're testing out this new drug. We want some volunteers. It's to help cure...
Alzheimer's?
No, it was...
dementia?
Psychopaths.
Oh. Schizophrenia?
Schizophrenia. Okay. Thank you. It was that's what their claim was.
Yeah.
We're testing this to cure schizophrenia. So Whitey Bulger's like, yeah, I'll sign up. Test me.
Did he have schizophrenia?
No, I don't.
He just wanted to try it. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was just more of a trial. They were saying to see if it was safe. Whatever.
Right.
Well, they ended up dosing him with LSD for over a year. It was like 15 months or something.
Oh my gosh.
So he goes through all this. Of course, it screws him up like that would screw anybody up.
Yeah.
Well, later on, whenever he got released, he comes out, still part of the mob. What is that sound?
It's really echoing.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break and see if we can All right, we are back. Had some issues, and Jesse did his magic stuff where he stood up on top of his head. Some reason it worked. So
I wish I could stand on my own head. So, if anybody is listening to the podcast that wants to be an unpaid producer, you're welcome to come join.
that's right. We are hiring for
Internships.
free.
Yeah. So, no, yeah, we'll jump back into it. So, what I was saying was, Whitey Bulger was there, locked up. CIA comes in, starts just dosing him with
LSD.
a ton of LSD.
Yeah.
Right. And they do this for like 15 months. Right. So, first of all, Whitey Bulger's a bad dude.
Yeah.
There's a reason he's in prison to begin with. But up to that point, he hadn't committed a murder. Now, here's where it also gets crazy. I don't know if you know this, but so he gets released, right, after 9 years. When he comes out, he becomes an FBI informant. So the CIA comes in, secretly runs these experiments on him, comes out, becomes an FBI informant, which he denies, but the FBI is like, yeah, he was our informant.
Yeah.
After all this LSD drugging, he starts committing murders, right? And he does so with full knowledge from the FBI, and they're protecting him. They basically say, yeah, you inform for us, and your Winter Hill game can do pretty much whatever they want. We'll just look the other way. So much so, while he's informing for them. Now, during this time, he actually ends up getting convicted of 11 different murders. He was implicated in 19 of them, but 11 murders that the FBI is like, yeah, we're going to look the other way. So
the FBI or CIA?
FBI.
Okay.
Because at this point, he's an informant for the FBI.
Gotcha. Okay.
So our government comes in, they're like, hey, we're going to, run tests on this guy. Then after he gets out, they're like, yeah, we want him on our team. So much so that whenever the FBI came in, they were going to put a RICO case on him. It's like tax stuff.
Yep.
His handler for the FBI was like, you might want to go hide because we're coming for you. So he's on the lam for years, like hiding out. They finally catch up to him or whatever. But the FBI helped him escape.
Wow.
So anyways, they end up catching him. But he gets convicted of murders, whatever else. But would he have committed those murders if he wasn't drugged?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Now that kind of goes back to what we were talking about the other day about January 6th, right? Like, could January 6th maybe it would have not happened at that scale, that magnitude, if the FBI had not been involved somewhat.
Yeah.
Right? It makes you think, well, did they have something to do with this? And you think about also, if this it reminds me of the Gretchen Wilson.
Whitmer?
Yeah, almost. Yeah, Whitman.
Whitmer.
Whitmer. Gretchen Wilson's a country singer, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're talking about Whitmer, the one that they kidnapped?
Yes, from Michigan. Yeah.
Or planned
the
kidnapping?
Yeah, which they end up being found not guilty.
Well, because the FBI did all the planning.
Exactly.
And what?
Our own government.
Yeah, they're definitely on our side, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then there was some talk, and I haven't dug into this yet, but there was some talk that Charles Manson was also part of the MK Ultra.
That's what I was looking up on my phone. Have you heard of that book, Chaos, by Tom O'Neill?
I've heard of it just this week, actually, and that's on my reading list now.
Me too. Yeah. It's by Tom O'Neill. It's titled Chaos, Charles Manson, the CIA, and the Secret History of the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about this book.
Yeah, it's on my list. I want to check that out. There's a couple of books on my list now because of diving into this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's wild, man. So what else on MK Ultra? Did you just kind of, or I guess you went down a rabbit hole on MK Ultra, right? This week?
Yeah, I didn't go like super deep on it.
Yeah.
I just did some surface level
right.
research. I was mostly just interested in, because I knew Whitey Bulger was an FBI informant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when I found out that he was also secretly experimented on by the CIA, I was like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is too much.
Right.
So yeah, I just found it interesting. I'm definitely going to read some more on it.
Yeah.
But just worth a mention.
Right. Yeah. All right. So my topic, unless you want, is there anything else you want to cover on MK Ultra?
Let's transition. Like Joel.
Yeah. Good luck, man. Thoughts and prayers. So I know I've been, dude, I can't get enough of the UAP topic. I've been all over it this week. The reason why, maybe it's because I'm new to it, and this is what happens to every person that is kind of digging into the UAP topic, is that you always, these UAP grifters, right? Where they're always saying, "Oh, big announcement coming in 2 days," or
then nothing ever happens.
nothing ever happens, right? So I may be in the tail end of that. But the thing is that, I mentioned Dr. Stephen Greer last week. Also, Robert Calhoun, I believe, from News Nation. He has a kind of a show on there. He's the one that broke the story on David Grush, and he was the the big whistleblower that came out, and he helped with. I don't know if he wasn't directly working with these UFO crash sites or anything like that, but he was in charge of one of the secret black ops projects that the government was having on the topic of UAPs. And so I don't know the full story, but he got frustrated with the government and felt that what they were doing was, he didn't like the fact that they were hiding this information from the American people.
Can you imagine somebody getting frustrated with the government? That already,
right?
I don't believe anything he has to say now.
Yeah, I know, I know. But Robert, gosh, I can't remember his name, but he is a news anchor basically for News Nation. He's claimed today he's having a whistleblower. He's been kind of teasing it this week. And this whistleblower was there. His claim is that he was a first-hand witness, which we've never had, other than not credibly, at least.
Yeah.
Unless you want to include Bob Lazar, but that's kind of
on the fringe.
Yeah, it's on the fringe, but a lot of the things he said is starting to come true, and it's especially with gravitic propulsion, right?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, people are starting to, maybe this Bob Lazar had something here. Not saying everything he says is true or anything like that. It's interesting to listen to,
And that's what most of what we talk about is just interesting to us. Yeah. We are not experts on any of this, but we're intrigued by all of it.
Yeah.
And I looked it up real quick. Is it Robert Sherman?
No.
Oh.
I have it on my X account, and I think did I send it to you on X? Did you see any of those two things I'm
still trying to figure out X.
Okay.
So, is that not him?
No, that's not him.
That's all right. I didn't mean to cut you off. You can go ahead.
Ross Coldhart.
Oh, well, it wasn't Robert at all.
Yeah, not at all. So Ross Coldhart, he is with, let's see here. He's an investigative journalist and correspondent with U.S. News and Nation TV. Okay, maybe it wasn't. Well, I just had that completely wrong, didn't I?
You said News Nation.
Oh, I did. Okay. So yeah, he's the one, and this guy's name, the whistleblower, is Jake Barber. It should be interesting to see what is said today, but he's claiming to have witnessed and saw a egg-shaped UFO crashed. Okay, he was I think he was a helicopter pilot.
Okay,
and so he is going to be interviewed by Ross today, and then have you heard?
Do you know what time that comes on?
I don't know.
That's all right.
I don't know.
I'll look it up later.
Okay. Have you heard of Lou Elizondo?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's another one, I guess, somewhat credible whistleblower because he was the head of the U.S. government's investigations into UFOs. It wasn't a hidden project.
Okay?
Yeah. And so he came out maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Didn't come out like Joel, but in a different way, came out about UFOs. So he's like, what I've seen, it's gonna blow a lot of people's minds. He said it's gonna be, for those that have not really paid any attention to the UFO world, I guess, it's gonna be
just a game
life changing, right? Because they've never heard anything like this. But those who've been, have been in the UFO community for a while and are aware and believe a lot of these different whistleblowers and stuff, it's still going to be impressive. But those who are just kind of oblivious, it's going to be mind blowing. So you just have a lot of people that are saying this. It just feels like there's something coming. Something big coming regarding disclosure. Now, will we get it? I don't know. But Lou Elizondo was being interviewed by no, that was Ross. Ross was being interviewed by, he came on Don Jr.'s show.
Oh, okay.
And so they were talking back and forth, and Don Jr. is very interested in this subject. And so, I mean, this is the president's son, so
Yeah. Do you watch his show often?
not at all.
Man, I've tried.
Yeah.
I just can't.
No. Yeah. I mean, he seems like a good dude, just not my particular brand, I guess, of podcasting.
Yeah.
Just too much.
Flair.
Well, okay. And I've said this. I don't like the ass kicking or the ass kissing. Ass kissing.
I don't like either.
Right? Yeah, I don't like getting my ass kicked, but ass kissing. And of course, he's not going to say anything negative about his father, right? I wouldn't expect him to. That's your dad. But yeah, I mean, so he was on Don Jr.'s podcast, and they were both kind of just going back and forth on it. And, what I'm getting at is that I feel like the disclosure movement, if you will, is reaching a boiling point, and either put up or shut up. And so the way they have been saying that this huge news is coming is that they've been very bold in their timeline, right? Meaning, so Dr. Stephen Greer said these whistleblowers are going to be coming out before the inauguration. He said he said he tried to talk them out of it. He wanted to do it after the inauguration, but they wanted to have this ready to go on the president's plate when he is in office the next day. So they're thinking either today or tomorrow. That's the only days you have left.
Kind of trying to force his hand. By
Yeah.
getting it out there. That it always worries me though whenever you see stuff like this where it's just being pushed so hard.
Yeah.
And which means you've talked a lot about psyops, but
For sure.
When they're pushing stuff this hard, you're always like, what is behind the scenes? What's the real story?
Yeah.
Is this something that they're pushing to keep us distracted?
Right.
Or is there really something to it? And even if there is something to it, are they just pushing it now because they're trying to hide something? I don't know.
Yeah. See, that's the
Stupid
problem with
rabbit hole,
secrecy.
Man. I hate all this.
I mean, that's the problem with secrecy. The government has been so secret and lied to us so many times. I mean, they could come out today and announce to the world, we're not alone in the universe. We have responded to crash sites that are non-human intelligence. They could say all this. I would say probably at least the majority of the American people, are they going to even believe them?
Well,
Even if what they say is true.
If they were to come out and say, yes, we have actually encountered semi-intelligent life from a different planet. They've made it here and they have infiltrated us.
Yeah.
And then they came out and said Joe Biden is one of them. I'd buy it.
Now that makes sense. That makes sense right there. No, I don't know, man. I don't know why I've been so interested in it. I think because it has the possibility just to change so many things about the world, and the way we see reality, in general. And so I've been kind of antsy and looking forward to this weekend, and a little nervous at the same time because, we have the inauguration coming up on Monday, and well, the man has been shot at. Well,
he's been shot
once and attempted another time. I don't think he actually shot the president or tried to shoot at the president at the golf course.
No, because he didn't make it there yet.
Yeah, exactly.
As a matter of fact, did you see that report that came out about that Secret Service agent that shot back him? Because he shot back whenever they noticed the gun sticking through the fence. Mm-hmm. The Secret Service agent fired on him.
Is this the one at the golf course?
At the golf course, okay. Yes.
No, I didn't.
Dude was 5 feet away and missed him with all of his shots.
5 feet away from... Oh, the
Secret Service agent was like 5 feet away and missed him.
What the freak?
Does that not give you concern about the kind of protection our president has?
What the... Man.
Do you know what kind of training they have to go through and pass to become a Secret Service agent?
Dude,
And then you miss from 5 feet away with multiple shots?
Exactly. I'm not the best shot. Okay.
No, but I don't think I've ever missed from 5 feet.
5 feet? I mean, that's like we're both pretty tall dudes. That's not a It's almost a little bit longer than an arm's distance, right? I mean, not.
Yeah, it's
That's not that
it's your
far.
it's your wingspan.
Yeah.
It's shorter than your wingspan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good grief. And yeah, I mean, you're thinking, yeah, I don't know.
It's
just,
literally from me to you.
it's ridiculous. Wow.
Yeah, that's insane. And that just opens up other questions. I didn't mean to go
Well,
down
hold on,
this
hold on,
road,
hold on.
so I'll let you finish.
So, did he really try to shoot him?
That's
or was
exactly what I
this
was gonna say.
Was that on purpose?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Come on, like 5 feet, really?
Yeah. Was it intentional?
That kind of seemed a little nefarious.
Yeah. That whole situation is.
Oh yeah,
But then when you add that on top of it, that's just
yeah. Did you listen to Tucker's recent interview with Sean Davis?
no. I actually haven't listened to Tucker in a minute.
No, pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah.
Sometimes it. He's been flirting a little bit with, and I'm not, I'm pro-American. I'm an American first person, but, and I'm not saying Israel is completely innocent. Would I consider myself a Zionist? Maybe, don't know. But I'm pro-Israel regarding God's people, but not necessarily Israeli government.
Well, that kind of goes down a couple of different paths. I'm 100% pro-Israel.
Yeah,
That also doesn't mean that they're doing everything right.
right.
But if you're going to go back and base things biblically, you can look back at the different times that Israel was doing something wrong and God would allow them to be taken over because they were doing something wrong. And the people that he allowed to take them over were still punished
Yeah,
because they went against Israel.
right.
I'm 100% on Israel's side. I can also say, you're not above board on everything,
Right.
but I still got your back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. Let me clarify. I'm pretty much the same as far as being pro-Israel, but I think it's okay to criticize the Israeli government. And I question a little bit, have no evidence, but it makes me suspicious about October 7th and how much was allowed. Dude, the Mossad agency, I mean, they're more competent than, well, and that's not saying much, but than the CIA.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's
Their capabilities are insane.
insane, right? You mean to tell me
They
they
make me
had
be
no
afraid
idea?
to hold a phone.
Right. Yeah. Or the pager.
A pager or a phone. Yeah.
It, I don't know, man. That makes me question a little bit. I don't understand how they had no idea this was going to happen. The vastness of it.
Yeah, I mean, you can question that, but again, that if you're on the side, if you're on defense, you have to be right 100% of the time
For sure.
to protect yourself. If you're on the offense,
this is a
you've only
major-
got to get it right once
True.
to change everything. But it still is questionable because how do they not know?
I know. But I know that was kind of a side trail we went on there, but what I was talking about is that I mentioned Tucker, and I wouldn't say he's anti-Israel, but disagrees with a lot of the, especially AIPAC, with the AIPAC lobby, feels like that they have too much influence over the politicians. So I'm not saying I agree with that at all. I'm just kind of giving you a glimpse of where Tucker is going right now. My disagreements with him.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
And so he had Sean Davis, and they were talking about what was the town, Pennsylvania, the first assassination tip.
Oh, okay.
Bethany?
Yeah.
Was it Bethany, Pennsylvania? Does that sound right? Or Butler?
Butler.
Butler, yeah. And gosh, man, the complete and utter incompetence, or
The intentional.
yeah. Highly recommend you listen to that. Really interesting.
Yeah, I'll look at it.
Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but
Well, I don't. Who knows? We're just chatting.
yeah.
But bringing it back to the FBI, because I'm sure you've seen it, but with Cooks, that kid that shot Trump, and they went through and they did the geo tracking on the phones,
Yeah.
And they had that one phone that kept coming from right outside the FBI office to his house multiple times.
Yeah.
And that whole thing is just strange. The fact that the body was allowed to be cremated that quickly and just vanish, get rid of anything. No silverware in the house. The house was scrubbed.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And the way this story completely went, it disappeared almost.
Yeah.
Maybe a few days, a week tops.
Yeah. There's an insurance CEO, and his assassination has been aired way more than Trump's attempted assassination.
Yeah. And
nobody even knew who that CEO was.
No.
Until he got killed.
It's ridiculous. What else? What else is going on with you, brother?
Man, nothing. I mean, we can go on and talk about different conspiracies and conspiracy theories all day long.
Okay.
But
that wasn't a challenge.
I feel like we're probably at the point now we should probably switch over and get a little more light and tell some more New York stories.
Let's do it.
You want to jump in there?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a break and be right back.
All right. So we're back, and we are going to talk about the Men in Red.
The Men in Red. They were on Pennsylvania Avenue, right?
Yeah.
We're not talking about January 6th. No,
not those.
No, yeah. Back to New York. We had told you a little bit about Jibo.
Yep.
On the last episode. Talked about how he had a bigger effect on our lives. So a little bit later on, so we lived in Woodhaven for a little while, and then it got to the point.
It's about half and half, wasn't it? About 3 months in Woodhaven, 3 months in.
I want to say it was about 2 months in Woodhaven, and then the remainder
maybe
in Bed-Stuy. It may have been half and half.
For some reason in my mind, I always had 3 and 3, but it
may have been.
Yeah.
So part of the reason that Bed-Stuy was even an option. While we were living there, we were doing an after-school program, and then we were also teaching West African immigrants, helping them to learn English, helping them to get their driver's license, just whatever they needed, basically.
Yeah, we used to be good people.
Yeah, once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
So that's in Bed-Stuy in Brooklyn is where that center was, where we worked. We had to find another place to live. There was an apartment above there.
Yeah.
And so that's where we moved into. Once again, out on the town. I can't remember exactly where we were, but we were coming home late.
Yep.
The train stop was, what was it, like 2 long city blocks from the stop to our apartment?
Yeah, but I don't... Were we walking back to our apartment, or were we just walking around? Because I thought we were going for a good walk.
We may have been. We did that a lot.
Yeah. Regardless.
Yeah. Either way, we're out walking. It's late at night.
Yeah.
We go walking, and there's a lot of corner stores. We were walking by one that wasn't our normal.
Yeah.
And there was a group of guys standing out there, and they had all red, red bandanas and red.
The Men in Red.
This is the after hours report, apparently.
Yeah.
So yeah, we start walking by, and they didn't necessarily like us in their neighborhood.
No. May have been our britches. Maybe our britches were too high up on us.
Yeah, I was wearing a belt. So. Yeah, they were a little nefarious.
Yeah.
So yeah, they start taunting us, right? Just kind of, being a little aggressive. They started to walk towards us.
Spidey senses was coming.
Yeah, there was definitely a gut feeling like, this isn't going to end well. I remember thinking, I was like, man, they're about to circle around us. They never did.
Yeah.
So they're talking trash, and we're just trying to get the hell out of there. One of us popped off and was like, hey, we know Jibo. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, shout out Jibo.
Jibo.
And they were like, oh, nah, man, you're good. You're good. Keep going. Right. You know Jibo for real? Like, yeah, we know Jibo.
We know Jibo. He's our bruh.
I don't know if anything was actually going to happen that night, Jibo, but if it was, you saved us. So
that's right.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Jibo. This makes me wonder. I don't know if we've ever had just an impact on a stranger's life, and our names are in their stories, and we're unaware of it. Like Jibo right now, he has no idea.
Yeah, he has no
how many
clue.
times we've mentioned his name, right?
Yeah. And we don't even know his real name.
That's the name he gave us, right?
Yeah,
Jibo, was that his nickname? Or?
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Listen, again, we grew up in Texas. The only Jibo I ever knew was a farm store where you could go buy hay and stock tanks.
Here, Jibos.
Yeah. So maybe it was his real name, and I just wasn't aware
Yeah.
that was a real name.
For those unaware, Jibo is kind of like a tractor supply.
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, but less woke.
Yes. Yep. Jibo, so you saved our life. So thank you, Jibo.
Yeah. Sorry we never got you on ESPN, but
Yeah. One of these days.
you were a star in our lives.
Yeah.
So
oh, man.
that was just a little quick catch up on Jibo. I don't think there's a whole lot more on him.
Yeah.
But let's bounce back to Woodhaven while we were still living there.
Yep.
What was one of your favorite memories over on Woodhaven? I know I've got mine, but
My favorite one, and I think I remember better than most, was so you and I, we were creating these videos just for fun. Like we didn't even. I know YouTube was there, but it wasn't as big as it is now. This is 2006. So I don't know what we were going to do with these videos other than just show our friends and laugh, right?
just to be stupid, because we like to be stupid.
Yeah.
And to post them and just show folks back home.
Yeah. What I remember is you and I, we are, for some reason, I'm going to put a towel on my head.
Yes.
And pretend like I am Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
Right?
And I was going to interview you.
Yes. And so we've got the windows are open. So as we're trying to put this towel on my head, I look down and here comes Ramoy walking down the sidewalk, and he just looks up at us like, what the hell am I getting? What did I get myself into? Just complete, I don't know if it was disgust or disappointment or, man, these guys are idiots, you know?
I think it was probably just more shock than anything.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
Well, and I don't know, do you remember the rest of that episode?
I don't know. I just remember
just that part.
Yeah, that towel on my head. And
it's one of my favorite
bucket
ones.
head, right?
No,
that's a different one.
That's a different episode. No, you were doing the towel. You
Yeah.
were Osama bin Laden, and I was interviewing you. Mm-hmm. And so I sat you down, and I'm like, Osama, what is your favorite? What do you like the most?
Football,
about
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Football. And you just kept going, football. And then you jump up on the couch, turn around, stick your ass facing the camera, and start smacking your ass with both hands. Football.
Yeah. Football.
And I don't know if Ramoy was still outside seeing that part, but I hope he was.
I think he came in during that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as he saw it, that's all that matters.
We were at the beginning stage of me putting that towel on my head. Yeah. Yeah. And why would I put a towel? Well, because I just got out of the shower and I had to,
that.
Yeah.
Back then you did have long hair, so that would have fit.
I did. Yeah, that's true.
So a quick little, and I forgot about this till just now, since we talked about Osama.
Yeah.
When we first got to New York, of course, 2006, so this is after 9/11. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things we wanted to go see. We wanted to go see Ground Zero.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
When that dude tried to picket pocket me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're there, we're looking, and you've got these people coming up. Now, again, we're from Texas, and Sam at that time would carry one of those tall wallets that would stick halfway out the top of your back pocket.
Yeah.
And I remember we had talked about it because I had moved mine. I had a pea coat because I was stylish. Mm-hmm. And I had moved my wallet to the inside pocket of my pea coat, so it would be harder to pickpocket.
Yeah. I actually did move it to my front pocket because I was a little worried.
Yeah.
And that's why
it didn't get stolen.
That's why it didn't get stolen. But he did try to reach and grab my back pocket.
And so I remember he came up, he was trying to sell postcards.
Yeah.
And so he had this big backpack, whatever, trying to sell postcards. And I just out of the corner of my eye, I saw him kind of bump you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, he didn't. So I was like, check your pocket. And you already were because you already had the same feeling. Like, we both just take off chasing this guy.
Yeah. He takes off running.
Dude, he booked it. And we don't even know where we are in New York. We know nothing.
No.
He ended up going down into a closed subway tunnel.
Yep.
And we lost him. Yeah. But it didn't matter. You had your wallet.
Yeah, it didn't take anything.
But yeah, we weren't even there a week. And you'd already tried to be robbed.
Yep. That was welcome to New York kind of thing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought that was, but that's not where I meant to go.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take you down a dark area.
Oh, all right.
In New York. So we were on the third floor in Woodhaven, New York.
Okay.
And there is a fire escape where you can go.
Oh, why are you going down this road?
Yeah, buddy. I told you it's going to be dark.
Oh,
We're going down a fire escape. And so Jesse,
we wanted to go smoke.
Okay.
And so we wanted to go outside.
Yeah.
But we didn't want, you had to go down the stairwell and it was kind of loud.
Yep.
We just didn't want to bother anybody.
Yeah.
And so we go down the fire escape. Unfortunately, I went first.
Yeah, Jesse went first. He walks down, and then we're trying to go down. He's like, go up. And you basically push us back up to the stairs. We're like, what the freak, dude? What are you doing? And you should have seen his face. It was just complete shock and awe. Like
there was no awe.
I think
there was no awe.
Maybe not an awe, but well, there was an awe for somebody else. But we'll get there. But he was. It was like he saw an alien, pretty much.
Well, it was a little gray man.
Yeah. So we finally got it out of Jesse. Like, okay, what? It took a little while for you to.
I didn't want to see it, much less talk about it.
Yeah, like we're just. I don't know how Ramoy's thinking at the time, but I'm thinking, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What? Just say it. Tell us. Like, I'm getting frustrated. Like, thinking he's just being exaggerating the situation or something like that. Oh no, he wasn't exaggerating it at all. So what'd you see, Jesse?
Well, we'd already said we weren't going to say his name, but so the director that helped us move down there and get us going on this little ministry deal, I walked down and the shades were open. You could see right in.
Yeah.
And he was sitting there at his computer with his willy out in the palm going to town. And whatever, I get it. Everybody's done it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to stumble into it. And that was, I lost my appetite for a smoke. Yeah. So it was time to
wasn't he?
cry.
I think he was looking at stuff, right? On the computer.
Yeah. And I couldn't see the whole screen of the computer, but I'm pretty sure it was a picture of you.
Woo, man. Yeah, it may have been. Or it could have been a picture of this guy named Joel. I mean, I don't know.
It could have. Actually, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, yeah.
I hear there's still pictures of him floating around out there.
I hear too. Oh, yeah, I remember that, dude. Good grief.
That's a story for a future.
Yeah, that is. That'll be a good one. Yeah, so that really... Okay, so it was shocking to see that, but just to put everything in perspective, this is kind of a spiritual mission trip. We're trying to get closer to the Lord. We're trying to figure things out, and
a lot of these stories don't sound like that,
right?
But that is the goal.
Yeah. So we're looking up to Leroy, our director. We consider him. He's the director of this organization that we're serving under, and we just see him as a
it's kind of like
mentor.
Walking in on your dad doing something wrong, but in this sense, you kind of put him in the position of a spiritual leader.
Yeah, or
and
maybe
so it was just
pastor.
very disappointing.
It was to me. It was almost like seeing your pastor do this.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, it was.
It just was very disappointing, and that's not to say. And I'm thinking of Jesus putting a line through the sand and saying, he who is without sin cast the first stone."
Exactly. Again, we've all done it.
Exactly. I'm not.
I just happened to witness it.
Yeah,
and it was just a disappointing moment.
Disappointing because
I'm no thinking, judgment at all.
Well, we're still growing. We're still immature Christians too.
Very
right. And we don't understand quite the world, right? And so I see, him doing that. It wasn't faith altering or faith. It did shake me a little bit. Like, wow, this is our spiritual leader here in New York, and this guy's doing this. And so it was not a crisis of faith for me, but it was a crisis. Just say that. It was a big deal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it again, not a crisis of faith, but it did shake your faith in who you had chosen as a leader.
Yeah.
And whatever, a lot of that was just, again, us being immature.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. Cast the first stone.
Exactly.
No judgment. I'm not condemning him.
Not
anything
at all.
Like that.
Not at all.
But it was jarring.
Very. Yeah. So yeah, I know you weren't expecting to go
Yeah,
down that
no,
one.
I wasn't. Thanks for bringing that terrible memory up. I tried to
He still
block
has
that one out.
PTSD on that one.
Yeah. Good night. I thought we were going to tell fun stories.
Yeah, well, that was
No, it wasn't.
it was.
If you would have gone down first, it wouldn't be fun for you either.
I'm glad I didn't see it. That's for
Golly.
sure.
That's when I stopped being a leader.
Yeah.
No, let's go back to fun stories. So you mentioned us living on the third floor. I'm going to back it up a little bit. We were still living on the second floor.
Yep.
And we had the leader would bring in kind of like what do you call those foreign exchange student type scenario, but this was with adults.
Yeah.
And so this guy from Japan spoke very little English. One day, the director just comes up to us and he's like, "Hey, I've got this guy coming in. He's going to stay with y'all for a couple of weeks just to come visit America, check things out. And then he'll be gone.
Yeah.
But he's got to stay with y'all." And we're like, "Yeah, bring him."
Sweet. Yeah.
So he shows up. His name's Hitoshi.
Hitoshi.
And he was in a rock band in Japan.
Yep.
Loved American rock music.
Didn't he say he worked for Microsoft in Japan?
Maybe. I
That
don't
just
remember.
came to me. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think I remember. Anyways.
I don't remember a whole lot
Yeah.
about Hitoshi. He wasn't there a whole lot.
No, he was partying it up, man. He was so excited.
He was living life.
Yeah.
So much so that pretty much right after he got there, by this time we all had jobs.
Yep.
So we all go to work, come home, and there's no Hitoshi. We're like, "Oh, where's he at?"
Where'd he go?
So we get ready for bed. He's still not there. We're like, "What's going on?" Go to sleep, wake up the next day. He's still not there.
Yep.
We're like, "What in the world?" He finally shows up later that next evening, and he just looks like he got hit by a truck, man.
may
He
have.
looked awful. And we're like, "Hitoshi, where you been?" "Oh, I got drunk and I couldn't find my way home, so I slept on the subway train." He finally, after riding the subway for, all night and day, he finally looked up and was like, "This is my stop." So he jumped off and came home. So, yeah, I don't know. Hitoshi was funny.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of communication went on because he spoke very little English.
Yeah.
I know at one point he taught me how to say, "You have nice hair," in Japanese.
Yeah.
I don't remember how to say it now, but
Yeah,
he
that was
was a
your
fun
line
guy.
then. That was
Yeah.
your go-to line. You have nice hair. But
Yeah.
he would say it very randomly, like you weren't expecting it, so it would throw you off.
It started out as an insult to my sisters.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. I was like, "Oh, yeah, you've got nice hair," or "You have a very proportional body."
Yeah.
Like,
Very sarcastic.
very, very sarcastic, kind of demeaning.
Yeah. You're a nice guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those poor sisters, good Lord, dude.
Poor
Man.
poor me.
Yeah, we'll go with that. You say so.
So, yeah, a little bit of Hitoshi. We didn't do a whole lot. There wasn't a whole lot done on that second level.
No.
We weren't there very long. I do remember when we first moved up, Sam is very tall.
Yeah.
I'm tall, but I think you got 6 inches on me.
Did you mention very good looking as well?
Yeah, there's a reason this is a audio only podcast.
Oh, family podcast. My bad.
But yeah, we go up to the third story. It's the attic. It was just converted into
Yeah.
housing. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. And I don't know if you remember the bathroom, but if you wanted to stand
Oh, I remember
facing
it,
the
yeah.
toilet to pee, both of us were tall enough. We had to lean backwards
Yeah.
in order
annoying.
to fit under there because it was right under the roof line.
Yeah. It was very hard to take a shower,
It was
especially for you and I. I mean, I'm 6'6", you're 6'2", right? Or
6'3".
6'3". So, you need to be at least maybe 5'9" to comfortably take a shower.
Yeah, and Ramoy's pretty tall too. He's
Yeah, he's about
6 foot or so.
Yeah. I think so.
But yeah, he definitely had the good end of that deal.
Yeah. Well, but did he have the good end?
Yeah, poor Ramoy. He probably really regretted moving to New York with us. We couldn't help but mess with him.
No.
Do you remember when he was taking the shower
Oh, yeah.
and we decided we got to screw with him while he's in the shower? I know we had dumped cold water on him before while he was in the shower.
But this
We
time,
had to one up it,
Yep.
and we didn't have much of anything.
No.
So we went there. We had macaroni and cheese, the
This looks
Kraft
good.
mac and cheese. So we just took all the cheese packets out
Yep.
and dumped them in a bowl while he's taking a shower. and we just go and dump it over the curtain all over him.
Yeah, this is the powdered cheese.
The powdered cheese, yeah. And he showered. I don't know if his eyes were closed or what, but he just, ugh, why do I smell like cheese?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's one of those, like, you had to, for the context and understanding him, the way he said it was just, it was hilarious.
oh man.
Yeah.
Well, and the poor guy, we were nice enough. He got his own room. Me and you shared a room.
Yeah. Well, he just was more mature than us. We were just very immature, and not much has changed since then.
No, not much. I mean, there was days he'd come home and everything in his room would be upside down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he wouldn't even say anything most time. He'd just walk in there.
Yeah, we would wait outside. We're like waiting for him to say something. Nothing. Damn it.
No, you'd hear his grunt.
Yeah.
And that'd be the end of it.
Yeah.
And you'd walk in, everything's back to normal.
Yeah. It was probably smart on his part. It was probably done on purpose to
Yeah,
hope
dissuade us.
that we would not do it again. Because,
It didn't work.
No, it didn't. No. You know,
The grunt was enough for us.
yeah, we're like, that sucks, but it's good to hear at least something.
Got a
we got a
reaction.
little bit of feedback.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Yeah. Oh boy. That kind of reminds me, I think we got about enough time for about one more story.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Do you remember Nashville Star?
Oh my gosh.
So
All
we,
right.
we decide. No, so Nashville Star, those who are not familiar, I don't even think it's a thing anymore, right?
No, it's not. It didn't last very long.
Yeah.
I think Miranda Lambert came from Nashville Star.
Yeah.
It was like the country version of American Idol.
Yeah. Chris Young, I think he's the one that won it that year.
Really?
When we tried out. Chris Young. Right. Yeah. Pretty sure it was him that won it that year.
I like him.
Yeah. He's got a good voice.
Too bad he wasn't there. We could have met him.
Right. I know. So it's kind of like American Idol in a way. You know, you audition, and so there's a list of songs that you can choose, but this is for country music.
Now-
Nashville Star.
Yes, but hold on. You got to back it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So the whole reason we even went, Sam actually plays guitar
Yeah,
and
somewhat.
sings. No, well, you're not. Obviously, you're doing this podcast.
Yeah.
You're not a country star.
No.
So, but you played, and we thought you had a good voice. And
All right.
we were like, hey, you ought to go try out. And he's like, no, I'm not going to try it. Come on, Sam, try out. We kept pushing him.
Yeah.
Finally, I think we wore him out enough that he was like, all right, if y'all audition with me, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
So me and Ramoy had, because we're good friends, we went and auditioned so we could boost his career.
Yep.
So yeah, we all got up there and
We all did.
Try it out
Do you
for
remember what song you sang? Dancing with the Stars
Yeah.
Go Blue by Tim
Yeah,
McGraw.
Tim McGraw.
Is that the name of the song?
When the Stars Go Blue.
When the Stars Go Blue.
it
was awesome.
It was pretty fantastic.
Yeah. And
I still can't believe they didn't choose me.
I don't know why either. Ramoy, do you remember what he sang? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was.
While you're thinking about
Was it Fishing in the Dark or was it? It was Little Big Town,
yeah, it was a Little Big Town song.
but I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember the song. So he sang, and my song
I
I
know the
chose
song, I
was
just can't-
Heartland by George Strait.
George Strait, yep.
Yeah. So yeah, did we stay up all night?
We stayed up all night practicing.
Yeah.
And we were so excited and nervous about getting up in front of, and we had no idea what it was going to look like.
No.
We didn't know if we were going to go stand up in front of one or two judges and sing, or if there was going to be an audience,
Yep.
or we had no idea what was going to happen. We literally decided the night before to do this.
Yeah.
We stayed up all night practicing our songs. We should have just all looked each other in the eyes and said, stop, just go to bed, because this is a terrible idea.
Which I'm glad we didn't, because we had this awesome story from it, you know? So yeah, we stay up all night practicing, and we end up getting there, maybe 2 or 3 hours before they start auditions, just because we were worried about, the line, if we were going to be able to make the cut or whatever. So we got up there. We were, maybe the first 100 maybe?
Yeah, we were pretty close. There was
Yeah.
a lot of people.
There was.
We didn't have to wait too long.
No, it wasn't too bad.
We were stupid enough to sit there after we sang, waiting to see if they called us back.
Yeah.
That's what took the longest.
Yeah, we were hoping. But, we're here.
Yeah, so we get there, and Ramoy sang first. And I actually thought he did pretty decent.
Yeah.
So he gets up there, he sings. The judges kind of talk to him a little bit, and then he goes off stage.
Yep.
The best part of him going up there, he took his backpack up there. And he had his thumbs wrapped inside the straps, you know, and he was kind of swaying and singing. It just kind of reminded you of like a fifth grader getting up.
Yep.
What it reminded me of is Billy Madison, back to school. Yeah, that's what was going on in my head. Just the setup of it. He gets up there and sings. Yeah. They did good. You went next, right?
Good.
I think you went
I thought
next.
it was last, but maybe I did.
And maybe it just feels like I was last because it was so bad.
Yeah.
And you did pretty good.
Well, decent, but
did you get any negative feedback from the judges?
I didn't.
No?
No.
You didn't get any good feedback?
No. I did. I do remember one lady like clapping along when I was singing. And I was like, well, I guess that's not a bad thing. But I stuttered.
Yes.
The very beginning, I was like,
oh, yes.
And then,
it took a minute to get out.
It wasn't just judges that you're singing in front of. You're singing in front of, because it's at this. It was at a barbecue restaurant, right?
Yeah. It was like a barbecue bar and grill type of deal.
But it was
at a stage.
Yeah, but this wasn't just like a hole in the wall barbecue place. It was because it was you're in New York City. There's not a lot of barbecue joints. It was kind of an experience for New Yorkers. To eat barbecue, right? So it was a very popular.
It was a destination type place.
Yeah. So
and they had like 3 or 4 judges, and literally everybody that's trying out, standing around watching you sing.
Yeah, very. Yeah, I was very nervous because I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was. I'm glad we did it. That was.
It
was an experience.
Your feedback was way better. I really thought there was a chance they would say something or call you back because they were calling so many back for a second round.
Yeah.
Mine was awful.
I didn't remember. They gave you some negative feedback?
You don't remember?
No.
Oh, you can call it feedback. I got up there and I start singing, and if y'all don't know this song, go listen to it or whatever. But
hey, why don't you sing it for us?
No, that's never happening again. But I get there and I start singing, and I practiced a lot.
Yeah.
But I get to when the stars go blue.
Yeah, it's a falsetto, so you got to do a high pitch.
Oh, I went high.
Yeah.
I went high. And the feedback I got was the judges started laughing at me while I was doing that. And they laughed after I walked off.
So what are you thinking when they're laughing?
When they start laughing, I was like,
this is going
I'm
well.
out. It was pretty
demeaning.
Yeah. It was just,
you're like, oh man.
You don't have to laugh out, like laugh inside. Come on.
Right.
I'm here trying to support my buddy, and you're just going to laugh out loud in front of everybody at me. I was pretty red. And then I sat there and waited for them to call you back. And I know they weren't, but it felt like everybody was just staring at me like, this idiot, why did he get up and try out? We had to wait extra long because of this guy. That was embarrassing as all get out.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun, though.
Good old Nashville star.
We did have that one chick that was standing behind us in line, that blonde girl. You don't remember her?
Yeah, I do.
She was taking it very serious. She was good.
Yeah,
she had her CDs that she'd already produced some music, and I don't know how far she made. I forgot what her name was. I tried to look it up several years later and couldn't remember. But yeah, she was all in, and that was when it first hit me while we're standing in line.
Yeah, and
she's like, "Oh yeah, these are my CDs I've already released, self-produced, whatever." She had her picture, like very serious, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Well, I think that's about all the time we have left. I do want to just kind of tease for next week. We have a big week coming up, right? We have the inauguration on Monday. I mentioned some of you guys could probably care less about that, but I mentioned the whistleblowers that they're saying are supposed to be coming. We may get some information on some UAPs. So I'm probably I'd like to maybe discuss that a little bit, see what they, showed the world. If it's just BS, there may be something there to talk about. I'm sure we'll talk about the inauguration. I mean, I can't say this enough. Pray for Trump's safety. I mean, I just got a bad feeling about the inauguration.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It's indoors. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah. I hope you're right.
I'm glad it's indoors.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot easier to secure that.
Yeah. Anything you're maybe wanting to discuss next week?
No, I mean, I guess if we're going to, I imagine we're going to talk a little bit more about New York. Mm-hmm. I do want to talk about our experience moving in to the Bed-Stuy apartment.
Yeah, that was miserable. But yeah, that'll be fun. So,
all right, guys, y'all have a good week. Thank y'all for listening to this week's episode. Please subscribe to our channel if you enjoy this type of content, and leave a comment if you have any topic you would like for us to cover. Have a great day.
Mine's always drifting somewhere out there. Questions lost, floating in the air. Thoughts like whispers calling me near. Visions blurry but crystal clear. Wandering mind, never quite still. Chasing shadows, climbing